Yep guys, S-Man back at it again, finally with the review of the Pokemon Horizons season finale. That's right, this is basically the end of season 1. We're 40 episodes in and it's now the end of the Terrapagos Shining arc. But yeah, this episode was incredible, so make sure you guys like this video, subscribe for more content like this in the future, leave a comment about your thoughts on the episode, and let's just get right into it. Alright, first negative. First and only negative. This episode basically just wraps up every conflict started at the end of last week's immediately. The Brave Asagi was hit by Rayquaza and was going down. Guess what? It just lands in the water safely immediately. Secondly, the Explorers had been fighting Rayquaza. Spinel just shows up and has them all get out of there. So instead of having a cool Explorers versus the Rising Voltapours versus Rayquaza fight, we just get them out of there immediately. And then they really just don't talk about it. Hublo goes off to the ship to go help them out. Freed, Rico, Roy, and Terrapagos stay back to fight Rayquaza. Okay, this is the only negative I had with this episode. We had such a great setup for a war, and especially if a Mythio ended up showing up, or like he does later on. Imagine having all the Voltapours, all the Explorers in one place for the first time, with Rayquaza there. That could have been such a great battle, especially if, say, the Explorers aren't all green, and like half of them are like fighting each other, and we just have this 3 to 4 way battle with Rayquaza. That would have been sick. Or, let's just say, the Rising Voltapours have to temporarily team up with the Explorers to fight off Rayquaza, because we know the Explorers are about to become major characters in the upcoming arc. So it'd be really cool to see more of their dynamic with the Rising Voltapours, especially that potentially we can be seeing them more around each other. I also think Coral had a crazy dynamic with Nico and Roy, and I just love that. But yeah, say they join the fight to a certain point, run off, and that's when a Mythio steps in. But yeah, the rest of the episode was just positives. We see Rico, Dot, Freed, and just Roy all team up to fight Rayquaza, and I think that's incredible. We see double Flamethrower, we see Pikachu using its Rising Volt Tackle to send Spirgatito and Quaxley into the sky so that they can launch attacks. We also see some great combination moves, like for example, we have Rayquaza knocks down Quaxley and Spirgatito the first time they go into the air to launch their attack. So the second time, we see Dot and Quaxley use Low Kick to kick Spirgatito even higher than Rayquaza's attack, so it can use a Magical Leaf and not get hit. That scene was so cool. We also have another scene where Fuecoco falls off Charizard and Dot catches him with Water Gun and shoots him back up to Roy. But yeah, this is really cool. And we also actually see Disarming Voice, which I feel like that's a really good move to use against Rayquaza, and that's definitely going to be one of the best moves that they can have in the future. So Roy, don't forget that move. We don't know what move you forgot at the end of the episode or in your brand new move, but it better not be that one. But yeah, we keep on going with the battle, and eventually Terrapagos Nico almost get hit. But that's when a Mythio steps in and saves them. Now, this scene seems random, and another thing I don't really like about this is supposed to be a Mythio's big impactful moment. But to be real, some of these other Explorers have had more of an impact, especially during this arc, than a Mythio. A Mythio really was in like 2 episodes of this arc, and before that, he was in like 4-ish major story segments. The Liko beginning, Roy on the island, the Moltres, and then the castle fight. But those were all short batches of episodes where his main goal is to just be there and fight Freed. This is the first time a Mythio has shown up and has a dynamic with the Voltapours that isn't, I'm gonna battle Freed. Besides last time when he showed up with no build up and just fights Rayquaza. That's the thing that weirded me out. We know that Amphio has been hunting down Rayquaza during Rico and Roy set off when he stops appearing. So off screen he was hunting down Rayquaza. Failing at that, going back to the pendant, failing at that, and then going for Rayquaza again, along with all the other explorers. But he's doing it solo. And I don't know. Amphio is this character that's iffy because they also feel like they're gonna give him a redemption arc. Because especially here, his entrance, he saves Liko. He didn't have to do that. He went out of his way to protect Liko. And then the episode ends with like them looking at Amphio and Amphio, blah 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 blah. And he just like says, "We're not friends. Next time I'll fight you." But yeah. It is sick that Amphio immediately goes for the terrestrialization, and then 3 joins him, so we get a double terrestrialization, Charizard, and Cero Edge team up. That is so cool, especially when we see Charizard distract Rayquaza just for Cero Edge to go in with, I don't know what the move is called in English, it's like a blank to me right now, but when he goes in with Ghost Dive, then uses Shadow Claw. And I actually like that he got rid of one of his moves for Shadow Claw instead, because it would boost the terrestrialization. That's actually a really good touch. But yeah, we just see this cool, like, that was such a cool scene. The double Terra taking down Rayquaza, but all for nothing, they both lose. Then Amphio just kind of stands there for him. But you see Roy and Fuecoco prepare to fight, and Fuecoco even starts putting up a new move. But that's when Liko looks up at Rayquaza and is ready to fight too. And when she asks Spirgatito if she's ready to fight, she leaps in the air and evolves into Meowscarada. I think this is cool, but imagine if this was during battle instead of them standing on the sidelines and saying, "Are you ready to fight?" and it just evolves. But yeah, I'm happy Meowscarada finally evolved. I can't wait to see more of it. I hope this means that potentially we're going to see more captures and more evolution soon, because we were at a point where if they captured new Pokemon, Liko and Roy, without evolving their current ones, or at least having one of them evolve, it was just going to be stale, because we're 40 episodes in, with each character having 2 Pokemon, one of which barely has done anything, second of which has been a background, third of which was literally a couple episodes ago, with Spirgatito and Fuecoco being in most battles, knowing the same couple moves, learning one every couple of episodes. But we get a sick scene of Meowscarada's magical leaf basically blinding Rayquaza, and Roy rushes in with a flame charge. And this scene when Roy is basically rushing in with Fuecoco, and Fuecoco headbutts Rayquaza, and it knocks it down surprisingly. But obviously Rayquaza gets back up, looks at the Volt Tacklers, and just like nod to them, saying they've gained its respect, and it flies off. Interesting that they don't catch it here. Are they gonna have another battle with it? Because I hope they do when they're fully evolved. But it is kind of weird that every other Lucius Pokemon, especially Moltres, they just like calmed it down. It's like, oh yeah, I respect you, and then they caught it. I'm surprised they didn't do that for Rayquaza either, but yeah. Rayquaza's obviously the end game for characters like Roy. But after Rayquaza flies off, Kanya and Zur appear. For some reason, the retrieve Amphio flies off and says, "Next time I'll capture Rayquaza and the pendant," and the Volt Tacklers head back to the ship. After this, we get an incredible scene. They arrive on the beach to see the rest of the Volt Tacklers, and all the Pokemon on the ship are fine, and they're even happy to see Spirgatito evolved and all of them okay. But Liko and Roy are both disappointed that they lost against Rayquaza. That's when Freed basically tells them, don't admit defeat. If you admit defeat now, you basically give up on your dreams. Your adventure will end here.
And then Freed mentions how much all the people they met throughout their journey. And we get flashes of Iono, Kabu, Ego's grandmother, all the hero Pokemon. And Freed even tells them that this battle was just a step to make them stronger. Spirgatito evolved, Huecoco learned Flame Charge. They shouldn't give up. Liko and Roy both look at their partners and like these words just hit them. They get up and they reassure themselves. They're gonna find the rest of the hero Pokemon, and they're gonna capture Rayquaza, and they're gonna accomplish their goals. And that's when Dot steps in and says she's tired of sitting on the sidelines. She wants to grow alongside Liko and Roy. Oh, I love this scene so much. It just encapsulates all of the growth we've seen this trio perform during Horizons. I did not like Dot at the beginning of the series for the first half of the season, especially, and even Roy. Although I liked Roy, I felt like he was weaker compared to a lot of the other characters. But like lately, Dot has been hitting. Roy has been hitting.
In episodes like this, ooh. Liko has always hit, but like, yeah. When we get scenes like this of Liko, they hit. But yeah, this entire scene just is the perfect like bookend for these characters for like a season, because their next they mentioned all right, our next step is get stronger and to fix the rising world tackle shit, and that's just the last we see of them for the season. This, if we went on a long break, that would have been such a great break, but of course Pokemon can't do that because of the rotation cycle with new games always coming out. But yeah. This is the perfect middle point to their character, because we don't know how much Horizons has left. For all we know, there could be 50 episodes left, there could be 20 episodes left, which I hope not. Please don't. You can't rush this story in 20 episodes, especially with what we're at. But yeah, I hope we still have like a long way to go for these characters, because this is really just the beginning of specifically characters like Dot. Dot is finally ready to embrace her growth and get ready. But yeah, after that incredible scene, we get a scene with the explorers meeting, talking about Rayquaza, and that they're mentioning the Volt Tappers are probably going after the rest of the hero Pokemon, and that they should be tracking those down along with Rayquaza and finding a way to stop the Volt Tappers, which we know half of the explorers are going to go to the academy, while it seems like Spinel and Amithio are going to continue their tracks, but I don't know if they're going to work together. And I also like the detail when Gibeon is talking about Terrapagos, Spinel just looks smiling, knowing that it's Link. Yeah. We also finally get a face reveal of Gibeon. I was hoping Gibeon was going to be like some twist where it's like, oh, it's Briar. The explorers were built off Heath's legacy and became corrupt. But yeah, we also, along this, learn Gibeon's ace is shiny Zygarde. Okay, so what does this mean? How is this connected to Ash in some way? Because we know about the Zygarde in Ash. Is there another Zygarde in that universe that could potentially, besides Squishy and Z2? Probably at this point, because we see a 10% shiny Zygarde alongside Gibeon. And is this hinting that we're gonna get a Legend Z arc? Okay. Are we gonna end up seeing 100% shiny Zygarde against Rayquaza at some point? Because that would be cool. What if we get Mega Rayquaza and that's what happens? That would be so cool. I don't know what we can expect with this, because we're probably not going to see Gibeon anytime soon, especially if we're about to get a school arc. But yeah. Overall, I basically just summed up all my thoughts there. This episode was incredible. I don't know if this is the best of Horizons. This is definitely a top 5 episodes of Horizons, and what a great episode of Pokemon entirely. Through like all of Ash, all of this, which a lot of Horizons episodes have been really good. So yeah, I love to see that chapter 1 / I guess if you want to split up Terrapago, Screaming, Link, and Roy set off.
which I don't see what was the point of changing the name to Terrapagos Rising or whatever, Terrapagos Gleam, because Liko and Roy set off would have been continued to fit during this arc. Like, this is finally the point where Liko and Roy are ready, and they're not rookies anymore at the end of this episode. But yeah, overall, 10 out of 10 episode. I love it, and I can't wait to see what's next for Horizons. So, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and stick on this journey with me as we head off to the Horizons. S-Man, signing off.